got so many trucks, plus $500,000. There's so much to win. All you got to do is make your picks for your shot. Yeah, you do need to get on this. Make your picks for a shot to win big money and obviously more of Terry Bradshaw's trucks. With that, we are moving on. We're going to talk some Bucs and Saints now, because why not? The headline coming in was Brady Breeze. The headline going out, Brady takes advantage of Breeze's rough night. There are more words in the second headline. Drew Brees, future Hall of Famer, with 3 costly picks in what is rumored to be his final game. More on that in just a second. Tampa Bay capitalizing on those turnovers. They get the win. They're moving on. Mike Vick back with us now. Mike, how much credit do you think Tom Brady deserves for the Bucs win over the Saints last night?
He deserves a lot of credit. He deserves all the credit. First and foremost, for just getting to the point where they are now in the divisional round and moving forward in the championship game. That's what's most important. But last night, it was more about Tom Brady protecting the football, the ball distribution. He didn't go out and do what Drew Brees did, turn it over 3 times. He did exactly what he was asked to do, kept the offense on schedule and on pace. And this was more about the run game and the defense. And that's what you need this time of the year. It's championship football. And that's what was on full display. Tom was just a recipient of some turnovers and short fields. And I think Drew Brees said it in a pregame interview. It's all about who makes the least amount of mistakes. And unfortunately, that was them. So, Tom capitalized on it. Tampa Bay, they advanced and, they got what they deserve. But I give a lot of credit to Tom for just getting them to this point of where they at this season.
Can we leave Vick on the screen for a moment? Can we go side by side? Vick, I got a question.
Absolutely.
For you. Is it fair for me if I'm asked out there, like, hey, how's Mike Vick? If I say Mike Vick and I are friends, we're good friends, is that a fair statement for me to make? Do you think that's an honest statement?
No. That's fair.
That's a fair statement.
For sure. That's a fair, honest statement.
The closest our friendship has come to ending has been about Tom Brady. I can see it in his eyes. I can see it in his body language.
On a couple levels.
On a couple levels, it bothers Vick as a pro athlete. It bothers Vick as a quarterback. And I think partially it has bothered Mike Vick just as a man, what he thinks is my wanton disrespect for the GOAT. So I am here to say to Mike Vick, to Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wildes, Jenna Wolfe, as I'm surrounded by these Tom Brady sycophants, the guy's amazing. I'm so exhausted. He's like Jason. It's like you think he's dead, and he's not. It's just like, nope, rip the mask off, got another mask, and he's coming for you again.
Still here.
14 times he's in this game. Now, 14. Guess who was drafted 1 year after Tom Brady? Mike Vick. He had an amazing career and has been done and started another amazing career. Peyton's gone. Eli's gone. Rivers is on his way out. Ben's on his way out. Breeze is on his way out. Brady's still there. It's like, my God, man. There's a great moment from I forget which cheating scandal it was about, but whichever one, Tom Brady's phone was confiscated, and they had an email where he emailed his dad. They were talking about Peyton Manning. I'm going to read you the exact quote. Thanks, Papa. I've got another 7 or 8 years. He has 2. That's the final chapter. Game on. Brady was wrong about one thing about the Peyton-Brady duel. He had more than 7 or 8 years left. That was 7 years ago, and he's still going. Peyton's been retired for 5 seasons. Brady wasn't great yesterday, but he wasn't falling apart the way Breeze was. He's got the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers in the conference championship game. I'm just so tired of it. I just want him to go away. It's enough. It's been 20 years of this. I'm just tired of it.
Well, look. Well, that's why I'm not surprised that they're in this position, is because if you give Tom Brady a top 5 defense, you give him 3 pass catchers that can get it done on any team, you give him a top 5 offensive line, and you give him the keys to the offense, this is what you're going to get. Now, these teams were evenly matched. But when you come into this game, it comes down to who's going to protect the ball. Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints turned the ball over. And Tampa did not. So when we're looking at the stat sheet, they're like, well, you know, Tom didn't do much. I don't think that was the game plan. I think it was a genius game plan to go in knowing how difficult it is to go against that defense and how they disguise and cover two, and they can double one guy, double another guy differently the next play, and it all looks the same. So for me in that first quarter, I actually tweeted about, like, what are you guys doing? Are you going to run the ball? Like, this is not what you want to do in this type of game. If you think you're going to go out there and throw it all over the field to win, then you're mistaken, right? So they actually got into the run game the second quarter. They ran it 35 times. Remember, at the beginning of the season, we're like, they ran the ball 6 times. They ran it 15 times. When are they going to actually create this balanced approach? So, Wiles, I really appreciated how they approached the game, and Tom Brady did exactly what he was supposed to do, not turn the ball over and manage the situation. And that's why he is advancing and Drew Brees is not.
Yep. I feel bad for the Bucs defense when even Nick Wright is giving Tom Brady credit. They've got to be sitting there like, oh, we're lost. We have no one supporting us. Brandon, the Bucs defense held Drew Brees to 134 yards. Your guy, Michael Thomas, went over. Can't guard Mike. He also needs to get a new Twitter handle because you can't guard Mike anymore once you go over. They forced 4 turnovers. I know Drew Brees struggled and is obviously like, this might be his last game, but those weren't all like simple Chad Henne to the end zone turnovers, interceptions, and they punched one out. So that turnover, as I always say, ball security is job security, yours and mine, but the Bucs were forcing that. But I want to ask you specifically about Michael Thomas. We know that he's been hurt since week 1, but now he went over. He's got about almost $20 million due to next year. What's going through Michael Thomas's head as he didn't contribute to a playoff loss?
I mean, I think he's struggling, but I also think he's frustrated with this offense as well. And I don't talk to Mike. We don't exchange texts or anything like that. So this is just my thought. But here's the situation, right? Let's go back to what I said at the beginning of the year. I said, when you get in a postseason, everybody knows how to stop this offense. So if you look at the film yesterday, when you put Michael Thomas in certain formations in the slot, the pick, the Drew Brees pick, why was that a pick? Because what they did is they said, cornerback, play the slant and the out cut. You can play aggressive. You don't have to worry about him beating you over top because I'm going to have a safety over the top. So this whole disruption at the line of scrimmage was because of this corner knowing that he had help over the top. Todd Bowles did a phenomenal job of taking him out. You can listen to the audio from the game. Leo. You heard Drew Brees checking. They've had that check for 10 years. I was there for a month, so I was able to study the offense for a month, and I know what Leo is. I'm sitting there like, oh, Leo, that's the play where they go 3-by-2, and then you got 3 slants on the front side, and then you're probably going to throw it to the slot guy. So you don't think Todd Bowles, who's one of the greatest defensive coordinators ever in the game, is going to understand what Leo is and go to his team and say, guys, when they say Leo, this is where the ball's going, this is what they're going to do. And what happened there? Another pick. So this whole thing about Michael Thomas being shut down is less about Michael Thomas. It's more about Coach Payton and Drew Brees just changing it up a little bit when you get to the postseason.
Right. All right, well, Tom Brady's moving on. Drew Brees might have played his last game as a Saint. We'll discuss that still to come. But we take a turn, talk some Aaron Rodgers. How did A-Rod dismantle the NFL's best defense? Back talking Pack on the other side. First things first.
Tom deserves a lot of credit. He deserves all the credit. First and foremost, for just getting to the point where they are now in the divisional round and moving forward in the championship game. That's what's most important. But last night, it was more about Tom Brady protecting the football, the ball distribution. He didn't go out and do what Drew Brees did, turn it over 3 times. He did exactly what he was asked to do, kept the offense on schedule and on pace. And this was more about the run game and the defense. And that's what you need this time of the year. It's championship football. And that's what was on full display. Tom was just a recipient of some turnovers and short fields. And I think Drew Brees said it in a pregame interview. It's all about who makes the least amount of mistakes. And unfortunately, that was them. So, Tom capitalized on it. Tampa Bay, they advanced and, they got what they deserved. But I give a lot of credit to Tom for just getting them to this point of where they at this season.
Can we leave Vick on the screen for a moment? Can we go side by side? Vick, I got a question.
Absolutely.
For you. Is it fair for me if I'm asked out there, like, hey, how's Mike Vick? If I say Mike Vick and I are friends, we're good friends, is that a fair statement for me to make? Do you think that's an honest statement?
No. That's fair.
That's a fair statement.
For sure. That's a fair, honest statement.
The closest our friendship has come to ending has been about